good?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Right.
Welcome to the NEPA Scene Podcast, the only local live streaming podcast of its kind. We're coming to you from the brand new Legacy Studios in downtown Wilkes-Barre. I'm Rich Howells, the founder and editor of NEPA Scene, and tonight we're here with Scranton indie folk band Jung Bergo. We're going to talk about how Jeremy Burke and David Connors went from friends and college roommates to bandmates for 15 years, recording their new EP, JB, Eric Ritter at Windmill Agency, with guest musicians Sean Caden and Maury Williams. The writing and heavy meaning behind these songs, the catchy single Exactly Where I Want to Be, their previous albums, Thieves and Everything New is Old Again, which was named the Album of the Year at the Steamtown Music Awards. Playing gigs throughout the bar and brewery scene, starting a new band called the Broke Pines, and much, much more. So please stay tuned for the full hour. We would love to hear from you guys down below in the comments. It's so much more fun when you guys participate. So if you're enjoying the conversation, give it a like, give it a share, but also, leave some comments. If you have any questions for these guys, anything you want to know about music and stuff in general, or about the band specifically, any topic maybe you want us to kind of go off about, we'll do that. So just leave those down below. Before we dive in, I just want to thank Josh Balls for letting us use his recording studio. He's the owner of the Strange and Unusual Oddities Parlor in Kingston, as well as Noir Dark Spirits in Scranton. His latest venture is Legacy Studios, so go follow him on Instagram at Legacy Recording PA and book a session at legacyrecordingpa.com. Also, we want to give a special thanks to our sponsor, merchbooth.com, which Jeremy picked the perfect shirt for tonight.
Studio audience.
Thank you.
John Fry is very excited for that.
John Fry.
Merchbooth.com for providing us with the audio and video equipment that powers the NEPA Scene Podcast. Merchbooth helps entertainers, podcasters, and influencers create and sell merch online. If you already have designs, you can get started right away for free. However, if you'd like to have Merchbooth create some kick-ass designs, along with $1,000 in annual benefits, you can become a Merchbooth VIP member for only $19.99 a month. Learn more and sign up at merchbooth.com. And make sure to check out the NEPA Scene Podcast on the merch store, as well as Jung Bergo.
Yeah, they're VIPs.
Yeah, they are.
It's true.
Yeah.
For some time now.
We will we'll get into merch in a little bit as well. Ooh. All right, so let me start with maybe how you guys first met, and what made you guys get along so well.
Sure.
Ooh, I'm gonna turn this over to Dave.
All right. Well, we first met all the way back in high school, Scranton High, but we started really collaborating with each other, musically when we got to college. We went to East Stroudsburg University.
Warriors.
We ended up getting an apartment together, and just had a lot of free time when we weren't in class.
College free time.
Yeah,
you guys know.
to kill some time. And Jeremy has always been in bands since he was young. He was in Morning Star when he was younger with his brother Jeff Burke and a few other cool guys, And I was more just a hanger on here and being like, hey, you're really good.
You're a poet.
So yeah, and so we started hanging out, and I was always impressed with how Jeremy played. And then Jeremy put forward the idea maybe we can put some lyrics to a couple melodies he was working on, and we started doing that, and it's been fun ever since. He started playing out a couple open mics up there. Jared did.
That is where it all started. We started at Sarah Street Grill.
Mm-hmm.
We used to pop into their open mic, which is still going, I think, for like a long time now.
Yeah,
it was already going for like 25 years when we were there.
It's a cool spot.
And yeah, we used to test out all the ideas.
Yeah, all the ideas for our first album, Thieves.
Right.
Yeah.
Which became Thieves, and a little bit of stuff that we're still toying with. There's still some of those things that you're like, oh,
sure, we're procrastinators a little bit. And yeah, I think we have a lot of
I'm an
stuff
optimist.
that we don't finish.
That's why I'm an optimist. I'm playing the long game.
Yeah, but that's a long-winded explanation.
That's okay. We like long-winded. That's
yeah. I figure we got it. We got to fill the
no
space.
Place to go.
So you started the band in 2008. And how did maybe some of your previous musical experiences kind of play into what you wanted to do with this, or maybe how you did something different?
Sure. Well, with Morning Star, it was I was very young. I was like 12 or 13 playing with some older guys when I started that band. And then the rest of the band became people who were who I'd gone to school with and stuff. So we, as personnel changed, it became more that the average age was a high schooler. Jeff is 5 years older than me. He was the singer. That band was like, I don't know. We worked hard, but didn't get a lot done. so the idea with this band, it feels like a lot of the opposite. We don't do anything.
Yeah, we
We don't do
hard.
anything, and we're really just hoping that eventually
gets done.
our beer koozies and things take off. Because if those don't, if those don't change our lives, then something's.
I don't think it's gonna be the music at this. I mean, if it was me though, I do think Morningstar, like you guys had kind of more of like a punky little like emo vibe a little bit.
Yeah.
It was like a little bit more.
It was like Sad Boy Matchbox 20. It was like hard rock Matchbox 20.
Reminded me of Oasis a little bit too.
But like
some
we
of
weren't
the
writing
stuff.
3 a.m. baby.
No, you didn't write 3 a.m.
No,
But
I did not.
yeah.
I lost a lawsuit where I claimed to have written 3 a.m.
Yeah.
So it's official.
But a little different than our stuff. Our stuff is a little bit like a little bit more like subdued indie rock. Still
rock.
very sad boy, but
Dad rock. No, we're dad rock now.
We're still sad.
We're
Don't get me
dad.
wrong.
I'm a dad, so it's dad rock.
It's sad dad rock.
It's sad dad rock. How do I reach these kids, dad rock?
Reach the keys.
TikTok. Oh, and that confuses us. The TikTok confuses us. But this Jung Bergo is. I remember thinking that we wanted it to feel like its own entity, whereas other groups or things that I've ever been involved with previously felt more like we're the band, we're the star of the show. And this is very much where I feel like we've tried changing the name, we've tried so many things, and it always comes back to, well, that'd be mean to Jung Bergo in some way. Like we have all this history, this rich history with Jung Bergo. We can't give up on him now. Jung's finally getting his act together. So yeah, Jung Bergo feels a lot more like its own realized entity.
What was the first song you guys wrote together?
Yeah, we wrote a song called Thieves, and it's like that's pretty much why I retitled that first album Thieves. It was one that I think I had written like a little poem, like a little stream of consciousness poem. And I think Jared was trying to prove that, like, hey, we can do this as a band. Like, I could just give me anything you have written down. It doesn't have to be this perfect rhyme scheme, this sort of thing. And so you dream me up a picture of roses, red, and wine, and you start singing it, and you go into a little click. And I remember as soon as you started playing it, I said to you, I was like, shit. Wait, if you
stop
could
singing those words, I'll rewrite some of that.
If you could sing it, I was like, I didn't believe it. If you could sing it, I'm like, I'll just rewrite it, and we can like have better words. But that's
some of that original stuff stuck.
Some of it stuck, but that was our first song. It's still like definitely near and dear to our hearts. Like we play it out most of our shows just because we both have a little history with it and everything.
It's true.
Yeah, that was our first one. It's kind of like a folk rock song.
Very folk rock.
Yeah.
It's got a fiddle solo.
It's always interesting when bands have been doing this for a long time. Some of them feel differently about their older stuff.
Sure.
They absolutely hate it and don't want to play it or whatever. So it's cool that you kind of.
I get cringe factor. I get cringe factor. I try not to look back too much. I'm always high on whatever we're doing right now. I'm like, oh, this is what's up.
That's so true. Yeah, you definitely get a cringe factor for yourself, whereas I like don't mind. I'll like listen to everything like cataloging, editing, everything. Like
you're a listographer though.
Yeah, like
Dave's a well-known listographer.
Yeah, I don't mind listening to like our work, even if it makes me cringe a little bit. Like I kind of I
like,
like
oh,
it.
we were sweet back then, sweet stupid boys.
Yeah, but yeah, Jared's always on to the next thing, and I'm like, oh, I'm still thinking about 15 years ago.
The glory days.
Yeah.
So how has your writing process changed, or I guess maybe even stayed the same in that time?
Wow. Dave's inspired me to grab an idea and go further with it. Whereas I feel like right in the beginning, my brother Jeff did a lot of the songwriting for the bands that we were in growing up. And then so writing with Dave, I got to compose a lot of the music in the early days, and then in certain tunes where I'd be like, I think I have something, and you'd be like, well, I think you wrote most of it, and then you would just like, I always joke that Dave's the closer whenever I'm stuck, I'm like, this is going to become a 12-year-old nugget of an unfinished idea unless I tell Dave, finish it. And you're great at that.
Yeah, I would kind of agree too, that I think Jeremy's gotten like just better and better. I've stayed pretty much the exact same of being like, I'll help you when you need it.
You let go. You let go sooner.
But I think Jared's gotten, I think, more creative. I think you're willing to go in different directions, like with what his genres he'd be interested in exploring are, and then that opens like a lot of inspiration up if you're writing lyrics to it or if you're playing along to it, because you're like, oh, I've never played along to something when you played it like that. Now I really want to write words that fit with this melody or play something. So I think it changed a lot with he just keeps expanding a little bit with like his genres that he's interested in.
And I see Dave be less obsessive, even though maybe you've refined your process of obsession.
I
and you get it done sooner.
I think so too.
But I've seen you get to the point now where you'll let go of a song, you'll stop doing the list and edits. And,
I would say, Rich, that might be a thing, is I used to do way too many revisions. Like, so we'd be doing things for like if I said the amount of years,
lyrics up
songs,
until
like it would be like 10
like we've had this song 6 years, but I'm still changing in the studio.
Still changing it, and I think we've gotten better at kind of being like cool, a little more laid back, like, and saying like, let the song speak for itself.
God, we better be getting cool
because of how
we better be getting
because
cool,
of how cool I am right now.
Be real cool if that started.
Oh God. Yeah, but things change a little bit. I would say they change, nice ways.
Well, what I like about what you guys do, one of the things I like about what you guys do is you do, evolve and change and experiment, but it still all sounds like Jung Bergo, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like there's still like that kind of thread where it's like you're not going from like, a metal album to a folk album. Like,
right.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's a through line there, but there's also these, oh, okay, that's different. He hasn't done that before. That's that sort of thing.
I totally agree with that. Even on the latest record, I would say a lot of it sounds like right in our kind of wheelhouse for what we would consider what we do, kind of like a folk rock sort of thing. And then there's a couple songs that just take like one step in a different direction, like one step left of center. And I think that is something we always try to be like conscious of is that if we're writing something that's becoming a little too formulaic or something that sits like too perfectly in a genre, I would usually tend to like rather expand it a tiny bit so that you're
nudge it.
Like obscuring it a little bit. A lot of my favorite like musicians, directors, you can't really place their exact genre that they're working in a lot of the times, but it feels like them, like a Paul Thomas Anderson movie, like feels like a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. But he has pretty eclectic director. I like that. So I would say like it's a strange reference, but like that's something that we try to keep in our mind.
PTA is like
do something that feels like us, but then take it left to center a little bit.
Yeah, mess it up a little bit.
Yeah. Before we get into the new EP, which we're gonna talk a lot about, you look back at Thieves, you look at Everything New is Old Again. How do you feel about it now that you're years kind of removed from that process and whatever, and you've had some time to kind of like think about it?
Thieves was like a long process. That was like a long way. That we spent like 2 years of a lot of time going in and out of the studio on that one, and we kept doing trial and error in a way that we'll still do trial and error, but in a way where it was like, because we just didn't know what was going to work.
Yeah, it was the first record. You always used to say, hey, you can only make your first record once. But then that became like this awful crutch. Like,
you make it first one first.
And that became like this terrible, like debilitating thing. We were like, right, yeah, you only make it once.
Famous last words.
It was a famous. Oh, absolutely.
It's not perfect yet, and it's not perfect.
But then, and it's still not like. But I still listen back to that. Brett Alexander did that.
Yeah, he
at
crushed
Saturation, and like the production is
and Tony Halchuk.
Yeah, he engineered it, and it's like the production is still great. Like I'm listening to it and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I don't know why like we decided to do that.
I was thinking of that today. I was like with some of the newer stuff, and even on the I can see it when I look at Everything New is Old Again in comparison to Thieves. I can see, oh well, we started trying to do things without a producer helping us shape the sonic like area that the song lives in and all that stuff. And for us, I think we were just excited. We're like, ooh, look how crystal clear we can make it. So I feel like compared to the first one, compared to Thieves, Everything New is Old Again feels more close. Like and like less scene dressed. The scenes aren't dressed as much.
Totally.
But then it's funny because then the new thing working with Eric at Windmill, I'm like, oh, I see now again a little touch from the producer putting the songs into a place.
That's the thing. Like, I mean, yeah, Brett's was like, he's super high quality, and like everything he does down there, like it makes you sound good even if you're not good. So like it's a real crutch for a band.
Good crutch.
So it's a good question. Like even when we have looking back, we're like, you wonder what you could take credit for and what really is like but I still, like I said, I still love.
Oh yeah.
I still listen to it, and I like it a lot. Thieves, like kind of, I think, tried pretty hard. You know, like I think we tried hard.
Can only make your first record once.
Like and once. Like the solos were like everything was like an arduous process of like making sure it's like big enough and it's fitting a soundscape.
The songs were all very.
And I think we had like a kind of a reaction to that with the next album we did, which is to be like let's do it at home, and let's kind of not even over fuss, but like let's try to make it something manageable for us. Like we can do it at home. It's okay if it sounds a little sloppy. It's okay if it's a little bit like lo-fi. And so that was a big difference. And we recorded that with Sean Caden at Humble Records, which is his spot. He lives there. It's his house. And he has a home studio, and it's really cool. And that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That was a different process. That one.
Yeah.
You did a lot of that with Sean. You and Sean pretty much put together most of everything new.
Well, that's the thing of a home studio as opposed to a different kind of studio. Is like the idea of like, oh, we're here.
Yeah,
we're already hanging out here. Let's tinker on something, and all of a sudden, we came out. We keep all that.
Yeah, and then we would like mix,
which
edit,
makes it feel a little more laid back too.
Kind of
like in the songs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chillcore. That's what we're going for. We decided that we're so chill that it's intrusive. It's hey, will you guys stop? Will you chill?
Intrusive. How
stop chilling out so much? Yeah. Giving us anxiety. Yeah, you guys, you want to lay down? I'm fine. You? Do you?
So what do you think has kept the project going for this long?
I love him.
I like this guy.
I wouldn't want to spend my time with anybody else.
We're already doing it. I always say, we every time we hang out, we end up either hatching a new thing, a new song on. It could be like a random Wednesday night, and like we can start creating a brand new song that might not ever show up anywhere, or that will show up somewhere. But like we're gonna do it. We would do it whether there was a band.
Yeah.
We're just like I think the idea is like it started when we started the band in college. It was like, well, we just need a band to play these songs. We have the songs because we got so many songs together. And we were lucky enough to get people who would buy into it and play with us.
Yeah.
And become a part of the band. Yeah. But now it's like it's so much where it's like I don't know. I don't with the doing the new project, the Broke Pines. It was like me and Sean Flynn had been working on songs for like 2 months or so, and I kept just itching to bring Dave into it anyway. So I was like, well. Yeah. It'd be fun if Dave was here too, and you'd like him, and it's true.
Yeah, like even if we were getting together and being like our goal was to not focus on music, to be like specifically do not like anything else. There's nothing else that we like to do more like hanging out than writing a song. So like it's just constantly.
What if we don't like each other at all and we only like writing songs?
Oh, so yeah, that could be it too. Yeah, that could be it too.
Well, like if I like, what if I spray my hand? Yeah. Knock on wood. This isn't wood. This is leather. I spray my hand, and then like after a month of hanging out with him, I'm like, it's not working.
Yeah, this sucks.
This guy's a jerk.
Freaking awful. Yeah, you know what I hate about you.
I hate how you write those lyrics all the time.
Yeah. Everything about you is what I hate about it. Everything. Yeah, but the nice answer is we love each other.
That's true. I do love you.
The less nice answer is like we've got nothing else to do. This is our only way out.
Yeah.
But no. And then everybody we play with has always been awesome. Like
That's true.
Everybody who we've ever jammed with in the band, like it's just so much fun to hang out with them, and then to be able to kick it and like have a good reason to get together. Some people have like families and stuff, so they need an excuse to come out. It's like you need like, oh, it's band practice, so now I could get away from the kids for a little bit. So I think we've provided that for more than a couple people who wanted to jam with
That's
the
true.
band.
Sure.
And we're always willing.
And that's cool too that you guys have been able to keep like a core of the band, so to speak.
Sure.
But then kind of switch people out, as
Yes.
you go. You don't more or less it seems like out of just necessity of the time.
Yeah, life
how
is
things
long.
work. Yeah.
It's a long, even how long have you known us now?
Gotta be.
Like a decade.
Easily
At
10 years.
least. That's yeah.
I'd say about that.
Yeah. What's that?
Well, Fry, I've known. Well, Fry.
Right,
Forever. Yeah, we've
right,
known Fry
right.
Forever.
So like you've seen every incarnation of Jung Bergo pretty much.
Sure, yeah.
Shy of just when me and Dave were just starting with the Nuggets.
Right.
So it's like it's hard. And then like I don't know, I've seen so many of my favorite bands come and go, national, local, everything. And it's just because of life. Life
Right.
takes you. So it is a blessing to have anyone. That's another reason why I feel like I don't. It's like I feel like if we stopped writing songs now, it's like we'd be like, it's like, well, why did we do that? Why would you do that to not just Jung Bergo? Why would you do that to Dave and Jer? Like,
Yeah. We have nothing else.
Yeah,
I've got nothing
that's
else
my-
going.
it's- it's my only hobby.
Yeah.
That's all I do.
Yeah.
They give you a big
It's not
old
better than
old
Frisbee golf,
cardboard
but it's
check
better
every
than
once in a
golf.
while with the golf. I've seen it. The Pat Sajak checks. I've seen them.
I like the some of
Not
my,
once in my life.
There's some bands who have had good like changing rotations though, like
True.
Neutral Milk Hotel. Like that was kind of like a collective of people, like just like-minded people. I think from like Georgia, like Athens, Georgia, or something. Like there's a few of those that kicked around, and I always was a little bit interested in them. Especially, it's like once your original 4-person lineup like kind of like goes their separate directions somehow. I always felt like now like all the rules are off. Like
Sure.
let's just make sure we keep writing and keep playing and try to stay creative.
Mhm.
But yeah, we've had some awesome people play with us. Like very fortunate.
Yeah.
Sean Caden being like among the top. Like Sean is with Dishonest Fiddlers,
Mhm.
and he's one of the best mandolin players around. He can play every instrument. though. He's
everything.
terrific. And we played with Sean for years. He's awesome.
Yep.
James Naylor is great drummer. We've been lucky.
Shout out to James down in Florida.
Yeah, Steve Carrillo. We
Steve
got to play
Carrillo,
with another
that's
great
right.
drummer. So like it's really fortunate. Just
You got
like,
Brad Parks.
Brad, of course. But like that's a good reason to keep writing songs. It's like, oh my god, maybe somebody
That does
who we
influence
really
some of the
like
directions in some
will
ways
come play
subtly
with
too.
us.
Is like, oh, we're a rock band now, or we're this. Like I feel like that draws out different songwriting
Oh,
and
sure.
stuff, like depending on who we're
Yeah, you're
playing gigs with.
Steve,
So it's like,
different. You're
yeah.
playing with Steve Carrillo. It's different than playing with James. Different than playing with Steve Werner. It's
Yeah.
They're all awesome.
it gets in there.
So let's talk about the new EP. JB was just released in January. When did you start working on that?
That the songs got written fairly quickly in right before COVID, right?
Yeah, you wrote a
2019,
majority of them right before.
2020 at the
Yeah.
end. Right. So it was the end of 2019, beginning of 2020.
Yeah.
And then we couldn't really do too much with it, obviously.
Yeah.
But then I was like, Dave, I need you to finish a lot of
Yeah.
these things I've started. And
Yeah, you brought in the
Yeah.
closer. That was the
I
first
brought
time.
the
I think that was
closer. That's the first time I
you
referred
said
to you as the closer.
And I didn't even want to. There was, and Jeremy wrote like those songs. I won't get like too in depth about, but he wrote like some pretty personal songs, like really, like kind of a little bit sad. Well, not just sad.
Well, yeah, like
but
dealing
more-
with grief, and like I just lost my partner at the time.
Yeah,
She just passed, so it was a really good processing. It was a necessary processing device to do the song. So it was beneficial to me in so many ways. But I was like, well, maybe there's also going to be songs that I want
Yeah.
to sing, and then some of them did.
But
Some of them I
I-
do want to sing.
I even remember when you were telling me about it, though. You're like, "Well, I'm doing it kind of as like a therapeutic process. Like it's not really about like I
Getting an album together.
Yeah, and then you would be playing though like me songs, and we'd be doing this over, like
The phone.
FaceTime and everything, because again it was
Yeah.
like peak like COVID.
Yeah.
But and I didn't want to touch them too much because I was like, it seems like incredibly like just your voice and personal. But then I'm so eager to get to work. And some of them were so close to being done. Some of them were so close.
yeah.
And I was like, hey man, if you don't mind, like if you've exercised what you were hoping to exercise from this, like I certainly have things that I
might
have
wanna
very similar
exercise.
feelings that
Well,
that I-
you were also able to come at it because you knew Tawny, my
Yeah, of
partner who
course.
passed. You
we were like
you
best-
guys
yeah,
are we were all best friends
Yeah.
since we were teenagers. So So it's not like you weren't able to also just jump right
I
in
felt like I
to the
was
driver's
literally-
seat.
Yeah, I
which-
felt like I was
so, yeah.
living in the same like mindset when I was reading the lyrics and hearing them. Like it was impactful for me because I was also going through something and it actually like really spoke to me, just like hearing my friend talk about certain things. So it was pretty like easy. I don't mean to say it in a bad way, but like
No,
it was
it's
easy
not-
for me to like.
it's a good thing
just,
if
like,
it helps.
Like it was right there. It was right there. Like so, I don't know. That was when we wrote it though, and that was. It was a
Then we
lot of
didn't
Jeremy
start. When did we
lyrics.
start recording it? It was the end of 2021.
Yeah.
So it was December. It was Christmas time, December 2021.
Yeah, we got James in.
And we
for-
wrapped up in like May
Yeah,
or June.
yeah. In the meantime, I don't know what we were doing with them. I guess just finishing them.
We were finishing.
Right, finishing them, and
Mm-hmm.
making sure they sounded right, getting like solos in place, getting an idea of
Getting people like Roy
instrumentation.
Williams to put down,
Yeah.
put down beautiful pedal steel.
Yeah, and the like
It
planning.
takes time
a
just
lot
to
of planning
send
went
things
into
out,
it.
and that was also still semi-COVID times, which is also strange to think about. Yeah,
Well, yeah, we're still in
we're still in COVID, right?
times. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was the slightly depressing version of when we wrote this. But yeah, that was it. It was
I'd say it's like, see, I don't see it as depressing. I see it as like, I see like when I think of it in terms of what, well, that's also because I know what it's done for me, is that like it feels good to try to like write something that feels very universally human, and like, you know, loss is normal, friendships, relationships, all that kind of stuff. So knowing that it's relatable felt good, whether or not we were going to use them in any way. So then knowing that like you're saying, like you were able to dive right in, so it helped us like in so many. So I don't see it as depressing. I see it as like, oh, good, like let's celebrate universal grief. Because we don't do it often enough.
good point.
Music is probably the most, music and painting and in film is probably like the most ways that people let loose and actually like connect with their feelings of grief or big feelings.
Yeah.
As Daniel Tiger would tell us.
Yeah.
Well, it's exclusively now it's Bluey. Now
Yeah.
Yeah.
a little more laid back, you know, Bluey.
I
Yeah.
have no kids, so I have no idea.
You have no idea what this is. Yes. It would be better if you don't have children and you're like, no, I know Bluey and Coco Melon.
Oh yeah. No, Jeremy's got it.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we do recently on the show that seems to be kind of going over well is kind of do a track by track sort of breakdown
That's awesome.
of like what inspired this particular song. What's the story behind this?
Sure.
That sort of thing. And since we only have 6 tracks, you know, we got some time
That's
there.
right.
So, you know, we don't have to,
Crazy.
because that segment can get a little cumbersome. We got like 12, 13
I was about to say that's
It's like, yeah, that's.
But here, time is on our side.
Yeah, like if it's a rap album, we have interludes in between. You're like, should we go through the interludes?
Uh-huh.
What should we do?
Oh,
So we open with "I Never Knew."
yes. That's like a direct me processing the idea of living with someone who's experiencing mental illness and the trials that come along with trying to manage that, and also trying to be supportive while also being an imperfect human, like and having other areas of life that would play into your everyday inner monologue, as it were. And and that was like a very direct connection with that for me.
And then the recording of it is interesting. I think one, we got Roy on there playing.
That one felt like a saunter, like the whole vibe of that of the opening thing is like it's a nice, like, we kind of knew we were going to open with it too because of the vibe,
like
a welcoming in,
a hand, like kind of like welcoming you into like a situation that you're gonna have to get through, but like that didn't want to scare you off. That kind of felt like I
always directly
it's okay,
think of
you know?
there's a Simon and Garfunkel song that it's like an A and a B section, and it's just like very lofty, and then the other section's it's that hammer and a nail, or El Condor Pas,
yeah.
rather be a hammer than a nail, and it's like but then like when Art comes in with the chorus, it just takes off into like the atmosphere. So like that whole song has that A and B back and forth thing, like where the chorus is meant to feel a little more ethereal and stuff. So like, and so I feel like adding the pedal steel and then the drums in that tune are like a
Yeah, we did an
vibe.
interesting
They're a
thing.
total vibe.
Yeah, we did an interesting thing. We tried to, I wouldn't say like bury them in the back, but we like wanted them to still be a little bit reverby, but like buried in the mix. So it's this,
they're just bust like perfectly as like one sound.
Yeah. And not to get too like nerdy with it or like keep referencing other bands, but like especially when I'm gonna reference Beatles, but like the Beatles, like long. It's like a George Harrison song off of the White Album, and you can hardly tell like the drums are even later in the back there, and then every now and then you'll hear a little like
that they're helping move the song,
like a little roll come up.
They're helping move the song along,
floor tom or something,
without being the focal point, which is hard to do sometimes with,
so cool
with where you put them.
I think we loved how we got the drums on that, and Eric
yeah,
Ritter,
that's
course,
Eric,
and James Sandler. But we liked the drum mix. We loved Roy's part that he put down the pedal steel, and then I thought you played a really nice, like that guitar, the acoustic guitar on that, you know, it was really crisp. It was a nice crisp performance you did.
Say more, Dave.
Yeah. But that was the first one. The first one was like, I would say like really like a total Jeremy construction from the start. Like I don't think I put my fingers in.
No, that was like a whole thought.
A whole thought.
Yeah.
Next we have Break and Shatter.
Nice. Yes.
I remember. See, I've got a lot of little tidbits on some of these. I don't know if any of them are interesting.
No, but yeah, when I reached out to you.
Yeah, you reached out. You're on vacation with Lyra.
We're at the beach.
At the beach. We were at the beach, and it was like late night, so Jeremy was able to be like out on the porch at the hotel, like kind of just enjoying the breeze. And you called up, you're like, I think I might have something. Like I've been working on this little verse idea, and you might have even stumbled upon the chorus too, like that. How you're gonna love me too? And I think you had like one kind of complete idea of a phrasing of it.
It was a verse and a chorus.
Really good.
Yeah.
And then that was definitely one of them where you're like, hey, I'm totally fine if you wanted to, like, because
I've expounded on everything I could think of.
You felt like you did everything you think of for that song up to that moment, and then we kind of did a thing where we traded verses and choruses, where it was like Jeremy did a verse chorus that were like kind of all his lyrics, and I try to outright him with mine, and I was like, I'm gonna be competitive about it. And then
it's because you play basketball. I never played the sports, so I'm not. I have no my I don't have that in me. Yeah.
No. He's got the genes, but not that.
I got the genes. That's a dad joke.
It's a dad joke.
That was for me.
But yeah, that one was good. I think that's kind of indicative of how we write a lot of our stuff. Is like Jeremy will end up coming up with some sort of like half fleshed out idea where it's like, I have this melody, maybe some words to it that really, really work, and I have an idea where it can go. And then we'll either get together, or I'll just, brood over it for a night or two and send you back lyrics.
I was gonna say, sometimes it's like I play something for you over the phone, and then an hour later you're like, I think I heard all the words you said, but here's my version of that.
My version.
And I'm like, yo, shit, there's another verse to sing.
Yeah, that's what I was. We've always
Dave,
done that,
you've done it.
Try to write as many verses or chorus like options, so that like the words that end up like coming to the top are usually like hopefully close to the best, or like a little bit creative, like not the first option sort of idea. I don't know if we succeed at that, but like we try to put as much thought into like the words, and that they're words. No,
well, that the editing process isn't just that it has to. If the first thing you write is the thing, sometimes you do know it. Sometimes it tells you. It's like, hey, like why are you changing? Why you're gonna change that? Yeah, it's simple. You're taking the word "the" out. Yeah. It's like, why would you do that? But then other times it is arduous, and we are sending. You're like, hey, there's 13 versions of this. Not quite, but Bob Dylan-esque, where you're like, pick your favorite that you think resonates with what's already there, or what feels like the vibe, or when you sing that tells me what the song is. Yeah. So yeah.
And I like the recording of it.
Oh yeah, Break and Shatter is
fun. That's my favorite recording of anything we did down at Eric's.
I love the drums on that too.
The drums sound good. The piano.
And there's a killer pedal steel solo.
Pedal steel solo that I really love.
Yeah, Roy Williams did that, and he sent it back to me, and he goes, I recorded it twice because I thought it sounded like that great like 70s outer space pedal steel. He's like, but you could just use one, and we heard it back, and we're like, oh, we leave both.
Yeah, we do.
We want the outer space. We want the space.
He has really good instincts.
Yeah, great stuff on that track.
He's great stuff. Yeah.
So next up we have the single, Exactly Where I Want to Be. So I believe you when you performed at the NEPA Scene open mic a few weeks ago, you had mentioned that this particular song was special, or that one that you really thought could maybe go the distance, so to speak, or could catch on to it more of a maybe general audience that haven't heard you guys before, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that tune is I always say to Dave, and Dave I think would agree. It's like it feels like a thesis for the band in some way. That it's literally like half Dave, half me, trying to do something that we think sounds like an earworm in like a way where we're like, oh, like don't fight this song at all. Don't fight it. The chorus is very simple, but not. It's like the chorus is more of like a mantra in some ways. I'm exactly where I want to be. I'm exactly where I exactly where I want to be. It doesn't matter where it is. The whole idea being like that whole what's the famous saying? Wherever you go, there you are.
Yeah.
Kind of just contentment, finding joy in whatever situation you find yourself in. Yeah. Positive or negative.
And I think there's like some vibes that are a little bit like a little more mainstream. Like I don't want to, but like there's like a Tom Petty type vibe to some.
Oh, we were like, hey, how can we make this sound like Traveling Wilburys?
Yeah. So maybe there's like a little bit more to that one that I also think like it's not maybe as specifically geared toward like an indie or alternative audience. To me, it feels like
I wanted my dad to tap his foot to this song and be like, "That's a good song."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my cousins have a daughter. She's awesome, but this is her favorite song. She's only 2 years old.
Walks around singing it.
She walks around singing it. If she can do it, you can do it too.
Lucy,
what's up?
If you're watching this, Lucy.
Hi from Uncle Dave.
What's up? Dave doesn't know who Bluey is.
No. She likes Justin Bieber more than Bluey. She doesn't care about Bluey.
Well, she's hip.
Too cool.
She's hip.
Next up, we have The Light in You.
Yeah, this song started as an actual mantra. I was reading a book on lucid dreaming, and I was trying to engage in lucid dreaming. And so I was doing this thing, and it's almost like as it's described, is that you want to like almost get into a state where you can slip into like sleep paralysis, which is like probably not. I don't suffer from sleep paralysis, but it did like there. So this came from a session that was working real well, where I was like I could hear the creaks in the roof of the house because I was real deep into meditating but not falling asleep, but also being still and letting my body do the thing, and then the chorus came to me as like a mantra that I had to start repeating. And then afterwards I was like, I think that could be a part of a song. So it became it became the chorus of The Light in You.
The light in me is the light in you.
Yeah.
And then the recording, to get to that, I think that we tried to like, we definitely took this one in a slightly different way than direction than we were maybe even planning on it going in. But we kept hearing like there's like a guitar solo which Jeremy like rips through, and I keep telling him like, dude, that was like my favorite one take that you've done of maybe anything like in a studio. You were so in the moment, and me and Eric were like we were digging it from the other room, and it just had a vibe the whole time, and it was really interesting, really dynamic, and it reminded me of like Sonic Youth, or maybe some of the like dirtier, like noisier pavement stuff. And that's like, or My Bloody Valentine, which is all this stuff is like right up my alley, at least. I don't know if we have slightly different taste, but like mostly it's pretty on point. And I think that track has a little bit of like that noise guitar, shoegazing sort of thing. Yeah, loud, soft dynamics we were going for to really like keep it like almost. And then Eric had a really good thing. He said, when he said it feels like somebody's like you're singing a lullaby to your daughter while the world is burning,
because the verses are fairly controlled.
I thought that was I thought
that's your music video, right?
Yeah, I thought that was both dark enough and pinpoint accuracy for what like we were right. Yeah, what we've
sure.
Yeah, we're not all doom and gloom. By the way, this sounds like we're doom and gloom. I think.
Wait till you hear the next album.
Yeah.
if we all live to hear it. We saw some lights in the sky tonight. They've seen them in Jessup. If you look out your window now, you'll
There's
see
lights in
it.
the sky. If you're an Oaks-bearer, take a look out. You got lights.
We
in
don't
the
know
sky?
what they are.
Nobody knows.
So you guys are either going black metal or tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Maybe both.
Look out for that.
Tinfoil hat. You'll hear the foil.
Yeah.
You'll hear the crinkle. You're gonna.
Then
Is that-
you know it's a good stuff.
That's Reynolds. That's Reynolds rap. I can tell. That's no best yet.
Next, we got Twin Flame.
Yeah. It's funny. So much of this is I don't consider. I don't. Am I into like new age spirituality, Dave?
I think
Am
I think you and Ton used to be a little bit
Sure.
like, and like some of the
Tarot
and
and
the crystal stuff and
the crystals. Hey, everyone has
The
crystals. You guys got
crystals.
crystals? You got a box of
You guys
crystals?
fuck with crystals?
Get those crystals out of here.
Yeah.
I don't care that it's quartz.
Yeah, like
It
Jared's
should
like,
be a bowl. It should be a dish for candy if it's made of quartz. What's my grandma had? This is Satanist stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, no. So
yeah, Jared, you are a little new agey. You're
well,
like
I'm a little new
mantras
age. I got a
and
foot. I got
crystals.
one foot in a foot in atheism
Yeah.
and a foot in new age spirituality. But yeah, Twin Flame was yeah, about that concept of twin flame, of the twin flame of it's a new age concept of well, yeah, it's like a soulmate. It's just another term for soulmate, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, it's about loss.
Yeah. No, that one.
That song's about loss,
My
and
sister.
but
said,
also
though,
but it's also treating it. It's meant to, like, the way I treated it was I've been doing a lot of songs, like I said, throughout the process of experiencing, going through grief in different ways and stuff. And I was like, let's treat this one like it's a breakup, not like it's like you lost someone. Treat it like it's a bit of a breakup, so that you could have some attitude, like a Taylor Swift song.
yeah,
I feel like you're Taylor.
yeah. There was. Yeah, I remember.
Play
you
it like
saying that. That
Taylor.
was smart. That was a smart change.
It's a breakup song, goddammit.
You always kept telling me that. Is
Yeah.
that loss can mean a lot of different things to a lot of people, and that
Sure.
we don't have to look at it like we're writing an album about
Any
something
one
that's
thing.
any one thing or two. Right. And I would say, like, I don't want to be, is
Sure.
it depressing? And you keep telling me it's not depressing, and
No,
it's
it's-
universal, and it doesn't have to be about what we're necessarily.
Oh,
going
dude,
through.
and how you figured those songs were recorded? We finished recording them in 2021. I
Kind
already
of
experienced them
removed
in
from-
different ways.
Yeah, I know.
Like where I'm like, now it's like
No, yeah.
now they represent different things too. So which
Yeah.
is the
That's
nice thing
That
about
is a
music.
beautiful thing about
Yeah.
music.
Well, one of the things too, and I wasn't sure how much I was gonna get into this, but I think it, you brought it up. It sounds interesting. I'm not a spiritual guy at all like that. I'm an atheist, and I don't really, get into that whole thing. I respect it as long as people aren't pushing their beliefs on me. That's fine. If it does it for you, that's wonderful. I'm not one of those like internet atheists just to argue with everybody all day over this.
Let me let you know that I'm an atheist.
That's a great band name right there. Internet Atheist.
Internet
That
Atheist.
was really good. I was like, shit, I really wanted that one.
It has to be like the most arrogant bands
Yeah.
you've ever heard of.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Gene Simmons has that covered. So
And
I don't know.
actually, yeah, it's gonna be the
Will
most
Gene
arrogant.
join the band?
if there's money.
Can we get
There's
Gene?
money involved? Yes.
But yeah, sorry, Rich.
So I hear a lot of songs where they're talking about, grief and loss and things like that. And then they catch me with a line here and there about angels,
Yes.
and heaven and clouds and stuff. And I'm like, you just took me out of it.
Dude,
Sure.
And it's great that it did it for you. I'm not saying accommodate me. You should, believe what I believe or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of options in that area. If you're not spiritual and you don't stick to the very specific sort of imagery. I just started listening to this band called Spirit Box, and they're very popular now. They're getting real huge and stuff. And the other day she said on Twitter, because I started following them, and she said, everybody thinks because we have the word spirit in our name and we mention religious imagery of some sort, an angel or a devil or something like that. So many people are like, are you guys a Christian band? Are you really a Christian band? And they're like, absolutely not. Totally, we're not about that stuff at all. but we like the imagery because we grew up with it. You know, like
sure.
most people are raised like, in America anyway, most people are raised with some kind of Catholic, Christian, whatever, some sort of background like that. So even if you're not a part of that anymore as an adult, it still has that effect on you. You still like maybe the artworks,
the imagery in those characters themselves are woven into pop culture.
When you think of just evil, good or evil, what are the first things that pop in your head?
The devil. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just a natural thing. So even though I'm not into that, so like I get people wanting to write on that, but I feel like that's overplayed to a point where it's like it's beyond cliche.
Rich, oh my God, you are like speaking my language, buddy. I've been dude. I would say that we've had like, and Jeremy might be more like, I think Jeremy's probably a little bit more open to some like spirituality or universality that, and I would usually fall more in line with like atheism, and that's where I'm standing for. But also I always thought, even when we were writing first, like of it, anything we were writing, is that I would like to speak on behalf of like people who don't want to put God into like their morality within songs, that there's other ways to talk about like dying or being born.
100%.
Well, because morality is not exclusive to a belief.
As a matter of fact, I would say, and sometimes it's even more clouded when you do get into like those specific beliefs. But I felt the same way. It's like, it's so hard to find somebody who's speaking on like sort of universal ideas like loss, grief, being reborn, whatever it is, without trying to use the idea of like, well, let me put it this way so you'll understand. Let me put it this way so that it makes sense. And it's like, why does that make sense? And why is that the thing we're using as like the way to tell a story that's about something human? So we're going to use something non-human to describe human feelings. And it's like, I always looked at Jung Bergo, hopefully, and I don't mean to speak out of turn here, but like as like a more humanist band, is that like this is a band that hopefully is thriving or failing on human merits and based on like human emotion, human thought, not some sort of divine intervention from anything else. And I try to put that into lyrics without also being an internet atheist, without like trying to troll anybody. We're never trying to troll anybody. It just doesn't seem like, I don't know why we would need to reference God when we're talking about like somebody being, it's enough that we feel it. It's enough that like our families feel it. It's enough that like our daughters or our, like that's enough. And we could explore that without trying to have.
Do we ever say anything about God?
We do. And when we do, we call it a trick. So in the song Illusions, we say, while singing, our God is an awesome God. Yeah, our God is an awesome God. Which is,
or my God's right and yours is not.
Right and yours is not. And we call it all a trick.
That's the other flip.
It's the only time we mention. It's the only time we mention God is in one song, and it's a song that's supposed to be an not anti-religious, but it's specifically not a religious song.
Right.
Well, I went to Catholic school until halfway through high school, and I didn't choose that, and I didn't choose to be raised in that way. And then where it fell apart for me was that once I started asking too many questions about specifics, about theology, I was told that I was in trouble, and I wasn't allowed to be in the theology class anymore and stuff. And I was like, well, this isn't. Then why do I need to learn about this? Because if these, but again, if you dig it, you dig it. That's cool. Yeah. I get really crazy thinking about like quasars and like, ooh, is time travel possible if we can somehow make a spaceship that goes to a black hole? And is there a way to go the other way?
Right.
And
was Interstellar as we went full circle, John?
So much at the end of Interstellar.
It wasn't.
Was it the mouse?
It was the mouse.
Jerry.
I like the universal. Whenever I think of as like whenever it was very few and far between, but that's like almost like the George Harrison fan and like part of that touches me, where it's like if I'm going to talk about spirituality, because like I'm a skeptic, but I'm a pleasant skeptic. I'm not going to say, oh well, that's wrong, but like I know what I believe and what I don't believe. Actually, I don't know what I believe because I don't really believe in anything. But
you know what you don't. You know.
I know what I don't believe, and but I like science and the universe, and I find all that so amazing. And what we don't know about the universe, but I think that's special. To me, that's amazing. I don't know why you would necessarily need to have a person orchestrating it all for it to be amazing.
Right.
So I'm enough being like, this is wild that we all propagated here into this weird little bubble that's a universe. And if you could step outside of this universe, you'd say, wow, how meaningless that little bubble is. But who to us inside that bubble? Shit.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Jared,
I like it in here.
if anything, I'm happy about with religion, it's that, I mean, you grew up doing some choir and stuff like that, right?
True. That's the
And
first place I
honestly-
sang.
Honestly, it was like one of the first time I remember you telling me that. And so like I
Rich said I should lean into. Is it time for the Ave Maria performance?
Oh, yeah.
Bring in the choir.
Up the stairs. they rise up.
I could do Daenu.
Do you have the hydraulic
for my Jewish
riser?
friends out there.
Oh, and the drummer. Yeah, the bell choir. Oh,
If there's anything NEPA Scene is, it is not high budget. That is for sure.
but we did splurge. We
However,
splurged for this.
splurged on one
Wait
thing.
till you hear this boy sing Ave Maria.
One night only. All of our budget for the year.
If this does not go viral, we're
We're in trouble.
It's
We're
over.
we're in
there's
trouble.
nothing
The cards are maxed. It's not even about the choir. It's about they all have to wear the pressed robes, and dry cleaning these days is it's obscene.
It's a sin.
It's a sin. If I may say.
Oh man, I'm glad we all had that bonding moment over like totally trashing God. Absolutely. It's all good. Rock and roll, man.
But the Satanists congregate in the high school. Why? Why not?
Dude, and like I feel bad too, because like my dad is like a great, like is spiritual in all the ways that I
Like a
think
Buddhist.
Jeremy's like kind of, yeah, he's like a Buddhist.
It's like an
and
actual
and a
Buddhist.
lot of that, like I vibe with it in many ways. I just can't get my brain wrapped around certain things. Like, so like my heart could feel a thing. It's like, oh man, that's beautiful. And it makes sense to my heart. But then my brain will keep talking about
Tries
it.
the
you know?
logic.
It's
It
like,
wants that
oh, it
logic.
wants to logic it out. And that's when
But Dave, have faith.
yeah. Have faith. You gotta have faith.
Believe blindly.
All right. Well, that was. I think we're all. If there is.
Did we
a
just
hell,
kick it? Did we
we all
just
know
kick
where
it?
we're going to.
Well,
Well, we got one more track.
Oh.
We got Aquarium Life.
yeah.
That was a weird one.
No, this
I'm
one's
glad
this
you
one's.
saved it.
Remember, we told you guys we're not downers. We like fish, so we got that going for us.
Yeah.
Still got that going. We should have led with that.
We don't like Dave Matthews, but we like fish.
I almost wore the hoodie. I almost wore the fish hoodie.
The Scranton Steamtown Aquarium now has a theme song. Is that what that we're going?
Rich.
Rich.
Howells.
Hey,
Money.
that's
Money.
right. That's right. If you're
Red
watching
money.
Steamtown Electric City Aquarium, I mean, I sing "It's an Aquarium Life"
Yeah,
quite a few times in this,
Yeah, we sing
and
it
I'll
a
sing it.
bunch.
I'll sing it in like a better key if
Yeah,
you guys
Jared,
want it in
we
a better
could do
key.
a whole new version where it's just only an
Xylophone
aquarium
and
life.
it's an aquarium
life.
life.
Dude, Rich, thank you. That's big time. I think we could wrap this. I think we can wrap this up here right now. We got our.
We used to run an open mic. Dave and I used to host an open mic at the Steamtown Mall.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Oh,
right
wow,
by
you
the
guys-
right
you
by.
guys were there?
Oh yeah,
Sure. Yeah, and they used to play. Like,
you were
right
there
outside-
when I had a guitar stolen from that gig. Someone because it was the
It was.
it was me, John. And I brought it back. I'm not giving it back. It's like the. That's awesome.
So funny.
That's awesome. Well, oh my
Nice.
God, dude.
I know
What's up, man? See us
I
and
know
Tony
Yeah,
and Joe. What up?
Mancia.
Aquarium Life is like the after dinner mint
Yeah.
of the record
A little bit.
of the EP. But it's also kind of like we became aware, and I became aware as I was writing a lot of songs dealing with grief and dealing with just existentialism and stuff, that I was like, I want to write something that feels like some levity, right? Like some like
Yeah.
some,
Yeah, a little bit more weightless. I honestly, like, yeah, it feels a little bit like it's floating over Where the other ones are like really like kind of.
I was also really, especially during COVID, real into the aquarium keeping. I have a few tanks going.
Yeah,
so.
this is like a literal. It's a literal song. It's a literal song. Jer and I both had aquariums over COVID.
I still have 3 aquariums.
Multiple aquariums. And so he used it as I think what you ended up doing was using like the aquarium upkeep as a metaphor for like self healing or self-care.
Well, going back to like Buddhism, they talk about garden keeping as like a thing they say doing garden, like keeping a garden is some type of
I thought we decided
prayer.
like fuck Buddhism though. That
was an hour ago, Dave. And so like in some ways you're absolutely right, where I remember thinking like, oh, the chore and the task of this is feeling like it's like a healing, but also a connecting with the self type of thing.
Yeah. And
self work.
And and that was, I totally felt like that even from the lyrics and how you presented them when I heard it for the first time. That was, again, a few of these songs, Jeremy totally, like 3 of the 6, I would say Jeremy just cracked out like as like a full idea. I wouldn't say it came fast to him. I don't know how fast it came, but they were fully formed ideas when he presented me with them. That would be like, I Never Knew, The Light in You, and Twin Flame. And then this one was another one where we kind of like melded our minds a little bit. And I remember for my verse that I like kicked in with was that I even tried to think of myself as, for the first time in like the album that we were making, that I wasn't just the narrator, like as well as you. I wanted to like talk to my friend and tell him like, hey, like you've done a lot of work, like you've done good. And I kind of felt like it was this weird like well, it was like out of nowhere this voice that like is also talking to the singer, as opposed to it being also inward the whole time. Like the whole time it's I never knew, does it break, I wish, how can I love you, I'm exactly where I want to be. It's all very inward. And by the end, I think we for the first time tried to break that and go with a you. Like let me and you know, we're kind of talking to, I tried to make it like I was talking to Jeremy and say, well, let me tell you that I think like I'm really proud of you. And try to like write that into the verse a little bit in this weird way and say like, I hope you can just like you're doing it. You're writing the song and I think you're doing it. So like, I'm just going to write that back to you as like a little like.
Okay.
Dave's gaslighting me.
No.
That's called gaslighting, Dave. And it's illegal. And we've got it on tape. And bring him in. Butternut squash. He said it. Butternut squash.
Abra. Abracadabra, baby.
Half baked.
All right, yeah, that was the album though. That was
dude, I like that segment, Rich.
We never
I don't know if I ever get to
like
talk
this
in depth
ever.
about songs like that. I never in my life, Rich.
Keep that. Well, inevitably someone will steal that, but for now, that is ours. That's our thing.
That's right.
I like it.
Catch it now, only on NEPA Scene.
That was good. Yeah, we
I
never
agree.
talk about things like this.
People just don't care, Rich. People just don't care. Rich cares.
Rich cares.
That's a bumper sticker.
Yeah.
Little NEPA Scene next
you
to Rich
gave us
cares.
the aquarium.
All right,
idea.
yeah.
We're
All
giving
right,
you
it's
Rich
James.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll buy one. I'll have one. I'd like one.
All right.
As long as you'll buy a ticket to the aquarium.
I will. I was driving by it the other day and was like, you know, I haven't ever gone. I should go.
I haven't gone yet either.
Yeah. It's right there.
It's right
Why
there.
haven't I
It's
done
sitting
that?
right there.
It's pretty good.
ridiculous.
It's pretty
Yeah,
good.
the fish are right where Abercrombie and Fitch used to be. So like
It's
Abercrombie and
More
Fish.
surreal. Yeah. I would expect the dad to make the dad joke.
Disappointing
No.
laughs
You're
all
for all the
around.
bad
No.
Oh, God.
I told you by that time, you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So this one's really about Abercrombie and Fish. Not just that, it's about like the whole thing in the 90s. You remember Old Navy was against them, like they were partnering against and the shirtless men.
This is what happens
Oh, we can
when
talk
fish
about
start wearing clothes.
This is what happened. They've learned to use tools.
Now they're shopping.
Fuck crystals. You bringing that bad
That's
juju in
evolution,
here with
baby.
those crystals.
Just fish
Keep
learning
the
to wear
quartz at
clothes.
home. Keep the quartz in the candy bowl.
So I was looking at your guys' schedule of shows you have coming up, and maybe some of the shows that you've played recently. I see a lot of breweries on there, a lot of bars and stuff. What is that environment like for you guys as musicians? I know some people like playing that, some people hate playing that kind of stuff. Is it maybe tough to get people's attention because they might be eating or something like that? Like, what is that vibe for you, and how do you make those gigs work?
That's a Jeremy question.
The breweries for years for me, the craft breweries, have been like the best well of willing audiences who are like, they're already there to try something new. Ideally, most groups are there to like, I'll have a flight of these beers. Oh, they're trying a new beer, and if they aren't trying a new beer, they already like the different beers there. So I feel like it makes them slightly, possibly, maybe I'm just being an optimist here, I'm like, but open to being like, oh, I don't care if you play Hooting the Blowfish or Wagon Wheel by Darius. And like where they'll sit and like there's certain, but it's every room is different and every crowd is different on every night, because some people, sometimes you just luck out and you get a killer crowd of people who are like really receptive. But then there's certain rooms that like lend themselves to, they've cultivated people who come there because they want to hear the music while they're doing the new food and the new dinner. Turkey Hill is a great example of that. Turkey Hill down in Bloomsburg is like, I always say it's like, feels like a listening room, even though I know I'm in a great brew pub. Like it's like, and everyone is eating, but like the room will get quiet when you're doing something like it's like a more tender, more intimate song. And when you're rocking out, you can, people are still going out there just like they would at a show or at a restaurant, but like then it's just a different vibe where you don't, some gigs are what I call wallpaper gigs where you're just part of the room, you're part of the decor, and it doesn't matter. And honestly, I like those gigs too. I like wallpaper gigs because that's a lot of times where we try out a lot of our new material because it's
nobody's really listening.
You're not coming up here and asking me to play a Paul Simon song, then I'm not.
Yeah, it's like we'll do the Paul Simon one, then as soon as you don't request the next one, it's like, oh great, we can do now this new song we've been working on. We'll do a Fleetwood Mac.
Do you want to hear? Do you guys like Fish? Do you guys? No, Fish Keeping, not the band. You guys have an aquarium or a turtle? No, it's more of an Old Navy.
Yeah, we've been digging the brew houses.
Brew pubs are great. Cool. And there's so many good ones around here. Like there's such like it's just. And I'm glad that it's
functioning alcoholics. Like at least I am. Like so, I think that is like.
Speak for yourself, buddy. I will not be held on record saying that.
Jeremy's just functioning. I think I might be like a functioning alcoholic. So like. Like I would always rather play at a place with good beer.
Let's hear from the callers. Is Dave on a scale of 1 to 10? Are we concerned about Dave?
How functioning?
Are we intervening?
Is he? Yeah. We know he's a bit of an alkie, but is he functioning? That's what we want to know.
So let's get not on the alcoholism, on the functioning part. Give us a 1 to 10.
1 to 10.
Oh, you're a hot 7.5. You're a hot 7.5. What am I? Functioning human.
You're a high functioning human. I would.
What are you gonna give me? Our scales are gonna be different.
Okay, you fuck the scale.
No, I give you really nice. I give you a 7.5. Oh, I got
like an 8.75.
Wait, I'm going hot. You're giving me higher?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're definitely functioning higher than me. You could use your phone. Like you got a kid. You know what Bluey is.
You know what Bluey is. That's a point. Yeah, that's a point right there. That's a whole number. And the crystals. The crystals.
Yeah, you're like 8.75. Rich is functioning at like a 9.5.
95.
Like 9.50. You could still you got a little more you could unleash on you, Rick. I see.
9.5. I think once we get that Rich Cares bumper sticker, that's probably gonna super Cyan.
Rich Cares, that's gonna
I feel complete. Something was missing before.
I picture like a cutout of my bald head, off to the side.
Yes.
Tilted off to the side.
Yes, Rich Cares. Oh,
like a stupid smile.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was it. In accepting.
Got the smile.
Did we get that?
One more time with
the smile. We'll just grab the still. We'll just grab the still.
That's Rich. That's Rich. Too rich for my blood.
That's if I had my own sitcom. It was
Yes.
always
Yeah,
rich puns.
Oh,
that would be all we would have to do. You'd have one writer who just sat in a room all day and got all of the rich ones.
I've got 30 more for you, Mr. Howells.
Yeah, we can put it in time as-
Okay, so it's Abercrombie and Fitch, but it's fish.
but it's rich this time.
But it's rich.
Abercrombie
Abercrombie and Rich.
Yeah.
Where it gets weaker is about season 6. He
Oh,
ran
yeah.
out of Rich jokes.
Oh,
He
yeah.
started doing Howells jokes.
Yeah, you're right.
Ending quite as well.
We get it, wolves.
You know,
We get it.
Yeah, we feel like they're retreading the same stuff they did in the first 4 seasons, only now with towels. And that's
Classic.
Once he becomes a werewolf, that's when I had to check out. That's,
yeah.
that's when I said
You
no.
jumped the werewolf.
Yeah.
Now, for you Doctor Who fans, that's where you got real into it, because you know that it was a
That's where
robot.
things get interesting. Yeah.
That was robot Howells.
Oh man.
Now, before we get out of here, I want to talk briefly about the new band that you
Yeah.
guys formed.
Yes.
Because you guys came to the NEPA Scene open mic a few weeks ago and debuted the live version of the band, and it was really great. It was so cool to see something new like that, and I appreciate you guys bringing it.
We appreciate you
Yeah,
giving us
Rick, we
anywhere to
appreciate
do
you.
that in a
Something I'm
fun,
trying
real
to
way.
Encourage more people to
Yeah.
do, and I think maybe a lot of them don't think it fits that format, but it's the opposite.
It
Dude,
I
it
think.
begs,
absolutely
your,
does.
your,
And
your
we-
format begs for you to try things out there.
Yeah,
Right.
and to
Especially
cultivate
new
a
stuff
new
like
thing.
that.
Yeah, to go down there and try something new. And V-Spot's an awesome spot to do that at too. Like, and you
Yeah.
run a great show there.
thank
It's
you.
It's smooth.
yeah,
Like,
it's
like,
smooth. You're
I-
already cultivating this like a certain like a group of people that are coming back as artists,
mhm.
not just even as listeners. So we have the artists, we have people who are coming there to watch.
How many
to
years
listen.
is this going on now? The NEPA Scene open mic.
So the open mic, we introduced it like the second month in, so we've been doing it for 8 years now.
Wow,
8
see that?
years.
Dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's at 3 different venues over the
Right.
years. The V Spot being the longest running, and hopefully
Is that 5
we'll
now?
stay
Is that
there.
like 5
I'd
years?
say it's about 5. Yeah, I think.
Wow.
It's
Yeah,
close to 5
because
there,
we've done multiple different shows there, like
That's
in the
true,
past
yeah.
month. But yeah, man, like I mean, just mad ups to you, like big thank you from like the scene, like people
Oh,
who play
dude.
out live. Honestly, I know you probably hear it a lot, but like it helps. It helps to have somebody who like cares or is interested, who knows some of the
Rich
music. We've seen you out.
Cares.
Rich,
Oh my
We're
God.
not
But,
just saying it.
It's not just a
It's
not
not
just a
just
bumper
a
sticker.
fancy bumper sticker. Rich Howells cares,
but that's the
and we
scene,
care.
like,
We care about you, Rich.
Yeah,
We
and,
appreciate
like,
you.
honestly,
Thank
it's
you.
Because for us, it was like Rich is going to be there, like that. Rich is the scene, you know. Like,
Well, even when dude, like you are like, I don't know. You have your arms are open to the community, which would make me. That's why, like, it makes sense to try the new things with you, because
right?
you're literally always like welcoming it. So like whenever I've had something monumental, if we're releasing an album, a single or something like that, like we'll usually reach out to you just
Yeah,
because we want you to know, because we know that you're always covering things. You cover so much in the area that like it's like, well, it makes sense to just come play on your stage like for the night. Like it makes so much sense.
yeah, I hope more people like keep coming out to the V Spot on Tuesday nights, because like, it is a hopping place. And
Dude,
like,
we've met so many nice people.
Oh, you meet
and other
I
acts
met
that
so
we-
many
yeah,
new friends,
gonna
so
do
many
gigs with.
acts that are so good.
We met War Ballad
Yeah, a band that we
at the
played out
when
with,
we
War
our
Ballad.
drummer was in from Florida. James was in from Florida. We
Yeah,
came
we
and
played
we
Beach
jammed
Club.
with you at the as a trio, Jung Bergo trio.
Yeah, sure.
And War Ballad was there that night, and now we've played gigs with them.
Yeah.
It's
And
like
that's
that
what
was
everybody that's what
it's
everybody
all
can do, because
about.
it's cultivating a scene, which
Yeah.
is what like you're helping all of us do. And yeah, and just to tag like the Broke Pines is
Yes.
the name of the band. We're doing with Sean Flynn,
American
who's awesome,
Buffalo
from American
Ghost,
Buffalo
Those Clever
Ghost,
Foxes.
Those Clever Foxes. A lot of fun to work with, a lot
Old
of energy,
Charades back in
great
the day.
guitarist, awesome songwriter. Steve
Steve
Warner,
Warner,
who's
hand
like,
panned extraordinaire. Watch him on Twitch.
yeah.
He's
And-
figured it out.
and just one of my favorite people to hang out with anymore.
swell
Steve is like
human.
a really fun
He's
guy.
just a swell
to have a couple drinks with, hang out, like talk shop. He's one of my favorite people to hang out with. So like that's been awesome. We've been trying to do like something maybe a little bit like
Oh, dude, the
I would call it,
energy,
like,
the
power
energy is
pop,
more
like a little
exciting in
garage
some
rock.
way.
Power pop reminds me of like Cheap Trick a little bit.
I keep feeling the Cheap
Replacements.
Trick.
So it's like a little bit more.
We just recorded 8 tunes
Yeah, we
that are
recorded 8
getting
tunes.
near completion
Yeah,
at
we won't-
Windmill.
Yeah,
We won't give away too much.
Yeah, we don't know
We don't
anything
know-
about releases.
Can't
or
say
anything.
anything.
Yeah, we don't know. But we recorded
Asparagus.
them with Eric.
Asparagus.
Abracadabra. But we did them with Eric Ritter at Windmill Studio and Windmill Agency.
Really
Windmill
excited
Agency.
about it.
Yeah,
It's like good
Eric's
high
awesome.
high energy. Feels
Yeah,
good
high
good
energy.
energy. High energy and good energy music.
You're gonna be surprised. You're gonna hear it. And you're gonna say none of these
He
songs
heard
are about
us.
crystals
He
or
heard
death or
He heard 4 of the
atheism or
songs.
fish. Yeah,
There's less fish. There's some fish.
there's some fish still.
There's no.
So you're kind
No
of
God.
maybe scratching a different creative itch with this.
Totally.
Yes.
In fact, like so Sean Flynn and I started the project back in November of 2022. No, it was earlier than that. It was like when Lyra went to school. It was probably September. It was when when my daughter went back to school. And this you jumped into it in around Christmas time?
Yeah.
Right,
Well,
December?
you showed me 2 of those songs,
and-
and I
you and
said,
Steve?
I can write this. I was
And
like,
he said, I can write with this. And
And then Steve hopped in.
yeah.
Yeah, me and Steve played, I think, the same first practice or something around that time. And we had already had like 4 of the 6 songs kind of written out.
Oh, but even
8
just
songs.
since
Shit,
so
you
even
wrote a
just
lot of
having
those
like
songs.
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
But even just from having the new project, now there's times where, like I said, sometimes Dave and I are just chilling on like a Wednesday or Tuesday night
Yeah.
where we'll come up with a nugget and we're like, oh, well, this isn't Young Bergo.
I think
This is the Broke Pines.
Pines.
Like we're
we never
and I
got
don't-
to do that
it's
before.
there, yeah, exactly.
It's so much fun. Yeah, it's fun to be able to say this isn't for that project.
No.
This is for the.
This is
other
my
one.
private reserve.
Yeah, it feels like you're like a real artist, even though like you're not.
Oh, self-deprecation. Yeah.
Broke Pines.
It's gonna be fun.
Rocking out at a place near you.
Oh well, we have
so-
a gig with them on. We're at the River Street Jazz Cafe. It'll be the Broke Pines, the Southside 5, Joe Burke and Co. on June 2nd at the River Street Jazz Cafe.
a little bit away, but keep your
Yeah,
It's
we'll
open
annoy
for-
people with it on the
We'll be
interweb
annoying you guys.
before then.
Well, we'll let you get your plugs in now then, because I even have some graphics up for you.
What?
Oh my God.
You got
He
Rich
cares.
cares.
This guy cares.
This
This guy
you,
cares.
you guys tie in with our merch booth partnership.
Heck yeah, dude. Merch booth. Big
Yes.
ups on merch
So,
booth. Thank you, John
We have
Fry.
a
You
promo
guys are the
code
best.
here that you guys posted the other day.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
use-
Burgo 15 get you 15% off between now and March 11th.
That's our swallowing a rain cloud.
Yes, that's
sweatshirt
that's
that you
based
see
on
up
a
there right
lyric,
now.
and that was designed by the folks at Merch Booth. Let me just say, I'm gonna do a small little plug for Merch Booth as an artist for any other artists in the area who are thinking about Merch Booth. Let me just say, I'm not gonna get into like numbers or anything, but I will say, it's paid for itself. We've been able to have merchandise at all, which we went a long time
Don't
without.
always have it.
It's direct to print and direct to print.
Yeah.
And the team there has been incredibly easy to work with. I mean, we're throwing weird concepts. We literally were like, it's swallowing a rain cloud. It's there's gonna be a cloud and someone's just they're sad, but not too sad. They're turtles and fish. We like them.
Turtles and fish.
And they gave us a
And
cool
they-
ass.
and
They
they-
gave us a cool ass
Yeah,
design.
dude, and they
And
had it,
we've
they
done
were
other
willing to
things with
work
them.
us too. Like,
And-
yeah,
And knowing that it's a locally, there's so many local folks involved with it, and it's just
Yeah,
it's
I highly
I can't
recommend
suggest it enough. Merch
Yeah.
Booth is great.
yeah, merch booth. I would highly recommend it.
Check out our merch booth.
Yeah, come to ours if you want, but mainly just make sure you
Start
check out merch
there.
booth, That's all.
And
Start
you guys
anywhere.
want some more Instagram followers? I could use some of those too, by the way.
It's a whole
streaming
thing.
lot on Instagram, so come on, guys.
Instagram.
That's
You Instagram people are spoiled. You have no idea. Instagram, you guys got your own little window into this world. You're lucky.
You're lucky.
You have no appreciation,
We
Instagram.
got the
Oh.
Shamrock and Roll
We're doing a
giveaway.
Shamrock and Roll giveaway here. It's a bucket of gold, but it's not real gold, and I have to legally say that we
have to
do not
legally
have
say
gold.
This is not real gold.
There's no gold. There might be a little chocolate gold. I don't know, But it's so we're doing a show at Voodoo Brewing, Dave and I,
Yeah.
on March 16th, the night before St. Patty's Day. And I thought, well, we like Voodoo. We like the folks down there. It's a great spot, new spot here in Scranton. And we wanted to give away. We're giving away $20 to Voodoo Brewing. So come in, get a
So
couple.
come in, you get,
get some
you a couple
beers.
drinks or
We'll
get some
be there
food.
if you decide to come out on the 16th. We're going to be announcing it live on Instagram. We're going to be announcing it live on Instagram at the start of the show. So 6 p.m. you tune in, All you got to do to enter is share that little thingy on our
Share it
Instagram.
on Instagram.
Tag
Share it
someone.
on Instagram, and you could win $20 to Voodoo. You're
And
gonna
a
win
bucket of Jung
CDs,
Bergo gold. No gold.
Young Bergo swag from merch
T-shirts,
booth.
koozies, CDs.
CDs.
That's
beer
what-
koozies.
we-
Oh, the big plug! Look at what we got in today, Rich.
Just today.
So, just today, right before we came down. Yeah. Oh, look at that.
These guys are
Hey.
total pros.
This
Total
guy's a
pros.
pro. This guy's a pro.
I can wait. Hold on. When you put that graphic up, I feel like I can touch it.
Oh yeah, we want to.
Oh, and
Hold it. Both of you hold
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And right here is our record.
Yes.
It's huge.
It's huge. Our
It's huge.
record's
Our record's huge. You're gonna want to check it out online first, but we do have physical copies. You're gonna need to find a.
Big as a human.
You're gonna need a big display wall. Does everyone have one near in their foyer? Yeah, no. So we got physical copies of it.
Yeah,
you're
we
gonna
finally
win.
we
You're
got
gonna
our
get.
physical copies. In.
So the winner gets 2 of our records. Everything New is Old again.
You get whatever
JB.
you want.
Get a
The winner
T-shirt.
gets whatever they want.
That's right.
Whatever they want.
But no
Oh,
gold. No gold.
And a real quick thank you I just want to throw out too to the artists who helped me
Yes.
with this, Katrina and Mark Marcico, who are both they're my friends, but they're also just really great artists. Katrina did the paintings for these, and Mark did our digital layout, and they're just awesome people and really good cooks. So thank you especially for all of the stuff you fed me.
Katrina's got famous, delicious recipes that you need to see.
Yeah, and Mark's good too.
We share it. We'll share that on the Jung Bergo Instagram
We'll share
tonight.
that because they're cool people and they're artists.
That's right.
So,
So
When I was saving the graphic, that's when I realized I'm like, oh, these are paint strokes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I could say this was actually hand.
I was telling Dave today when we were having it physical, I was like, when the sunlight hits it, I'm like, oh, there's that painting.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
when you get it under like a good light, you're like, oh, like you're saying, you see the chunks.
Yeah.
That chunky paint. Beautiful chunky paint.
Chunks.
I don't know who that character is.
Nice
I don't
chunks out there.
my new character.
God damn, look at them chunks.
My new personality.
So Jung Bergo's new 6-song EP JB is available now on all major streaming platforms. Did you go with JB just because it was like shorthand?
Shorthand
It's a little.
for Jeremy Burke
That's
and
right.
shorthand for Jung Bergo. So it's a double self-titled album. And it
wow.
reminded me a little bit
Twofer.
of Graham Parsons' GP, which is one of our
Okay.
big influences for this album. That was always in the back of my head.
So a little reference there.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like
I'm
that.
glad. Graham Parsons is awesome, but GP, that album is so good. So is Grievous Angel, which is his follow-up. He only has like 2 solo albums, but yeah, check out Graham Parsons. Forget Jung Bergo. Check
No,
out Graham
don't
Parsons.
forget Jung
Flying
Bergo.
Burrito Brothers. The
Dave's
Birds,
famous for saying, don't even listen
Sweetheart
to
of the
us.
Rodeo. That's all Graham Parsons, and that was like big influence. But that, yeah, GP, JB.
Yeah.
Remember JB, don't remember GP, whatever. It's all good.
And you guys will be performing at Arlo's Tavern on March 4th, Voodoo Brewing Company on March 16th, Breaker Brewing Outpost on March 17th, and Turkey Hill Brewing Company on March 30th. Make
Yes.
sure you go and check these guys out. Some
Thanks,
of those are
Rich.
duo shows. Some of those are they band shows?
Yeah, so this Saturday is going to be a duo, but it's acoustic guitar and drums with Steve Werner, and
Oh,
so it's a
cool.
little more high energy, fun duo action. Then Dave and I are playing as a duo on the 16th.
You and Brad are playing as it.
Yeah, and then the Jung Bergo trio at Breaker Brewing, and then it's a full band hurrah at Turkey Hill down in
A little bit
Bloomsburg.
of all. A little bit of
Yeah.
everything.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, guys. We really greatly appreciate your time.
Yeah.
And,
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody who tuned in tonight. Seemed like some pretty lively comments there.
Oh, no.
I'm
Thank
terrified.
you to Natasha. She's always watching us on YouTube. She was tuned into the open mic the other day, and now the podcast. We're getting little people here and there who are like tuning in.
Cross
every-
pollination.
frequent flyers.
Yeah, checking it out. and
I like
stuff,
that.
so. And we really perfected the live stream for the open mic this week. No stuttering.
Oh, it looked
sound
great.
was
Sounded
perfect, Picture was great. We had multi camera angles and all that kind of stuff. So we, in between acts, we could put up some ads and things like that. So hopefully, maybe some local businesses will be interested in.
Makes too
supporting
much
that
sense.
And continue to do that. And it's 5 hours of programming. of about 16, 17 local artists.
Right.
Like, and you're guaranteed around that number each. Sometimes it's like maybe 20 some, sometimes more like 15, but like in that general area. So that's a lot of local programming you're not going to find anywhere else.
You're not kidding.
Exactly
A lot of
right.
really great local talent, and so I hope that people will support that. Maybe it'll grow. My initial thought was like, you see people on Twitch and stuff, and I just started kind of like playing around with it a little bit, and I'm like tuning in different streams, and I'm like, dear God, do people watch this for that long? I'm like, this is way more interesting. I think.
I wholly agree.
So hopefully, people
Not to
will
knock
kind of
anyone who's
discover
doing it,
it
but
as
yeah,
this
it's
weird niche thing. Like, oh, this guy's streaming an open mic in Scranton. Okay, I
Yo,
gotta watch this.
but it's
totally
not just
cool.
the.
It's
It's
totally
not
cool.
like, oh, I'm streaming like with like out there. It looks good and it sounds good.
Yeah,
I'm saying like you can. It's like it's like watching any other concert. It just happens to be literally a cool ass lottery of local talent, and people do drive in from other places to do this.
Oh yeah.
And dude,
we've talked to people.
for
who
any
are
bands
there
out there who are like passing through, it's a good place to stop by because it's like
B spot on Tuesday, open mic, NEPA Scene, man.
Heck,
That's like
go eat and watch people, even if you don't want to. Even if you don't want to be the one getting up there, you can sit there and have like a great night. I've found new favorite artists there every time I've gone, and then I've also just had a great time.
yeah, we got to talk to Rich.
Rich cares. We care. We all care.
A little bit, some more than others.
I guess I'm spent. I don't care either.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, and thank you guys for coming on. And we will see you here probably next week at our usual time, Wednesdays from 7 to 8:30 ish, somewhere in that general area. Yeah, it's always punk rock time, except we actually started at 7 this time. So.
Wow, look at us. Look at us. Functionality scale went up.
Yeah, thanks to John Fry.
John.
Thanks, John.
Fry.
Thanks, John Fry. Love you, buddy.
All right, everybody. Have a good night, and we will see you next week.